Hi everyone. Welcome to today's presentation, Discovering Your Soul's Purpose. My name is Shannon and I'm so excited to be sharing all of this information with you. Let's get started. So today we're going to talk about what your birth code reveals about you. Today you will learn who you are, which is your soul's purpose. This uses your day of birth and what it reveals about you. Who you are day by day, moment by moment. And then I'm also going to be introducing the shadow side of your numbers. This is the first time I'm going to be doing that, so I'm really excited to go over that. You will also learn why you are here. This is what we call your life purpose. What your birth date reveals about you. So this would be your full birth date, not just your day of birth. The main reason you're here, which is your life purpose, and your main lesson. And then also what your purpose is, or what we call your destiny number. This is used by using your full birth name and what it reveals about you. This is how you choose to express and communicate your life's work. So your purpose, so this is actually how you live that out. These are what we call your 3 important numbers. I'm going to be looking at some other numbers as well, but these are the 3 we're going to focus on for you today. So let me introduce myself. My name is Shannon, and I am a spiritual attunement practitioner. You may be wondering what that is. What I actually do is I help people to understand themselves and others on the soul level. I help people to raise their vibration, to be healthier physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I also help them to become more consciously aware, so to make more intentional choices in their life and take things, just be more consciously aware of what they're doing. I also help them to discover their soul purpose so they can fulfill their life purpose. And this has really become the heartbeat of my practice right now. So how do I do this? I do this by helping people with their nutrition and lifestyle changes to help raise their vibration or to become more spiritually aware and intentional. I help them use corrective mindset techniques. I help them to create new neural pathways, so a new way of thinking and acting. And I do I help to do this through astronumerology readings and courses, which, like I said, is the heartbeat of my practice right now. So I'm really focusing in this area when it comes to my clients. A little bit about me and my story. This is a memoir that I wrote. And in the video below, you'll be able to get the link if you're interested in purchasing my story. This is, it's a very short, easy read. People tell me that it's very inspiring for them. So a little bit about my story is that I had an abusive childhood. I grew up in a home where there were drugs and alcohol. My stepfather abused both my mother and I. And then when she divorced him, I was 11 years old, and she then became an alcoholic. She became very depressed. So I fell into the life of drugs and alcohol, first given to me by both of my parents, my stepfather and my mother. My real father I did not know until I was 30 years old. And so I fell into that. And then I was married as early as age 21. I was married for the first time and had a child at age 21 as well. And then I was divorced and remarried all in the same year and at the age of 23. Now, my second husband I married, he was an alcoholic, and he was an alcoholic for 12 of our 16-year marriage. And in 2009, he was diagnosed with leukemia, and he passed away 5 months later. So I really started my life over at 40. Before that, it was pretty traumatic. So I went back to school and everything else. I became very interested in keeping myself healthy because of my husband getting sick and passing away. We have 3 children, and I wanted to make sure that I was around for them, so that became very interesting to me. I went back to school. I got a bachelor's in allied health science, advanced patient care from Grand Canyon University. I also became a certified nutritional health coach through IIN, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And then I became certified astronumerology through the Numerology Academy. And I did that because of the profound impact it's had on my life and how I want to share it with others. So that's a little bit about my story, and you'll see how this plays into my numbers. So what exactly is astronumerology? Well, astronumerology is the combination of using astrology and numerology to analyze a person's soul and life purpose. It really paints a much more accurate picture for us than just the astrology itself by itself or just the numerology by itself, and how they actually correlate and come together, and you'll get to see that a little bit later. Now, I use this because it helps a person to have a better self-understanding. It helps them to also improve their interpersonal relationships, excel in their careers to achieve their financial potential, gives a person a snapshot of their karma or their lesson to learn in this life. And also, how I calculate all of this is I use a person's day of birth, their full birth date, their full birth name, the one that's on their birth certificate, the time of birth, and the location that where they were born. Okay, so let's get started on discovering your soul's purpose. So you're going to want to make sure that you've got a piece of paper, pen, and a calculator. So our soul purpose is calculated by using your day of birth. And I'm going to use myself as an example because I want you to see how all of this comes together. So I was born on the 18th day of the month. So my day of birth is 18 and 9. How we figure this out is the 18, we're going to take the 1 plus the 8, and that equals 9, because we want to get to a root number. And since 18 reduces to the root number 9, we're going to write it, I'm going to write it shortened out like this, 18/9. So today I just want you to focus on the root number, because we're only going to go through the single digit numbers, except when I put all mine together, you'll see how it comes together with the double digit numbers. But right now, to just get a good snapshot of all of this for you, I want you to focus on your root number. So I am an 18/9. And it's funny I introduced myself that way, but anyway. All right, so if you have a single digit day of birth, like 1 through 9, that's just going to be, you don't have a root number, you just have that single number. Now, if you have a double digit day, so if you're born anywhere from the 10th through the 31st of the month, you would add the digits together. As an example, someone who was born on the 22nd of the month, you would add those digits together, the 2 plus the 2, which would equal 4. And shortened would be 22/4, 4 being the root number, okay? And then with the exception, if you're born on the 19th, the 28th, or the 29th, then you'll have actually triple digits. So you'll add together, as an example here, if you were born on the 19th, you would add the 1 plus the 9, you would get 10. And since that's still a double digits, then you would add the 1 plus the 0 and get 1. So somebody who was born on the 19th would have a 19/10/1. Someone who was born on the 28th would have a 28/10/1, and someone who was born on the 29th would have 29/11/1. And those are the exceptions on that. Now, hopefully you have your day of birth number. So when we get to explaining, giving you some of the definitions of those numbers, you'll have that. Now we're going to take a look at your life purpose, and this is actually calculated using your full birth date. So you're going to add up each digit of your birth date. So an example, I was born on April 18th, 1969. So written out is 4/18/1969. So you're going to add, I add each one of those digits together. So now take a moment, write out your birth date, and grab your calculator and add all those up and see what you come up with. So what I come up with when I add the 4, the 1, the 8, the 1, the 9, the 6, and the 9, I adds up to 38. Now again, that's a double digit number. So then I need to take the 3 and the 8 and add them together, which gives me 11. And again, that's still a double digit. So I need to add the 2 ones together. So 1 plus 1 equals 2. So written out, my life purpose is a 3811-2. So if you can take yours, some will only have two numbers, and then others will have 3 numbers. So get that, and then make sure you circle your root number, that single digit, so that when we get to the pages where I explain the definition of those, you can take notes on what that means. So 38 is the total number or compound number, 11 is the middle 2-digit number, and 2 is the root number. So that's what you would want to do, is circle that single digit. Another example of this, of a life purpose number, is someone who's born on November 22nd, 1961. So their birthday would be written out 11/22/1961. Adding all of the digits together, the 1, the 1, the 2, the 2, the 1, the 9, the 6, and the 1, equals 23. So again, that's a double digit, so we need to add those together. So we will add the 2 plus the 3, which equals 5. So this person's life purpose number is 23/5. Again, this person only has 2 digits, or 2 numbers. The 23 is the total number or compound number. 5 is the root number, so they don't have that middle number. And today, again, we're going to focus on the root number. So if you can add up all of your digits in your birth date, circle that last one, and we'll get to the meaning of those shortly. One last thing we want to look at is your destiny number. Again, this is the third of those 3 important numbers. And we do this by using the Pythagorean system. Okay, as you can see, each letter of our alphabet is correlated and corresponds with numbers 1 through 9. Okay. First, I want to have you look at something, because I want you to, on your paper, write out your full birth name, your first name, your middle name, and your last name, if you have all that. And I want to show you we have what's called 3 triads. And the first triad is what's known as the mind and thought triad. These numbers that are included in this triad are the numbers 1, 5, and 7. This means that someone that has more of these numbers in their name, they are highly intellectual, focused, and thinks in straight lines. Then we have the second manifestation triad, which is the second triad, which is the manifestation and matter triad. And these are the numbers that are 2, 4, and 8 that fall into this triad. These people, when it comes to their name, if they have more of these numbers, they can access feelings very easily, and they can manifest balance and work well with others. They also, 8 is the number of abundance, so they can manifest relationships, they can manifest stability, and they can manifest abundance very easily. And then the last triad we have is the feeling or artistic triad. The numbers that are included in that are the 3, 6, and 9. These are the people that can express ideas with sensitivity and uplift others in the process. And we'll get through each one of these digits, the meaning of each one of these digits, but that's how it kind of falls in. So I want you to pay attention to this as we look at your name, your destiny number. So using my full birth name and the Pythagorean system, number system, you can see I was born Shannon Marie Collier. And so what I've done here is an example. So write out your name like this, and then put the numbers underneath the letters that correspond with that. So if you look at the name Shannon, you can see that according to the triad 3, which is in the feeling artistic triad, I have 1 number in that triad. The other 6 are in the mind and thought triad, so very intellectual. And then Marie has 1 in the manifestation triad, 2 in the feeling artistic triad, and 2 in the mind thought triad. And then my last name has 5 in the feeling triad and 2 in the mind triad. So you can see my last name has qualities more of a artistic and feeling. And then what I want you to do is take your calculator and add up each one of those digits. Do it at least twice. Make sure you get the same number. When I add up all of those digits, which I've shown you here, it equals to 92. And then again, that's a double digit. We're going for the root number. So I will add the 9 plus the 2, and that gets me an 11. Again, I have a middle number, and I need to add those two digits together, the 1 plus the 1, that equals 2. So my destiny number, full number, is 92112. So I want you to write that out. And then again, some will only have two numbers, and I'll show you another example here next, but circle your root number. So another example I have here is Mariel Hemingway. She was born Mariel Hadley Hemingway. And as you can see, I have all the numbers underneath the letters that correspond with that. When I add all of those up, it equals 110. And then we add each one of those digits individually. So it's a 1 plus a 1 plus the 0, which equals 2. So Mariel Hemingway's destiny number is 110/2. So her root number would be 2. All right, so let's look at the numbers and their meaning. So you should have your 3 root numbers now. So as we go through, this is just a short definition of these numbers because there's much longer definitions, but for today I've simplified it for you. So if you have a number 1, especially if it's your soul's purpose, you are original and intuitive. You actually connect heaven and earth with that straight line. These are also people that are very confident as well. Again, being the first, the number 1. Number 2, the meaning of if you're a number 2, you work for cooperation and peace is very important to you. You're a diplomat. You're able to bridge and harmonize opposites. This is all about partnerships. Those that are number 3 are very creative and a self-expression of joy. They are the truth seekers. Again, it's the 3, combining the 1 and the 2, you get the 3. So number 1 has a more of a masculine energy to it. Number 2s have a feminine energy. And then 3 is the combination of the 2. So it's a balance of the 1 and the 2. And then number 4, these people represent stability through discipline. They actually carry the mind, body, spirit, the trinity of creation. So the triangle of the 4, mind, body, spirit, with the descending straight down into earth. So they're usually very grounded. That's where the stability comes from. And they do that through discipline. They're also the ones that are very hard workers. And number 5, if you have a root number, say your birthday is the 14th, and so you have a 5, then you represent freedom through change. You're very brave, fearless, and flexible. Now looking at numbers 6 through 10, sixes are, if it's like a 24/6 or a 15 of the month 6, you are all about service through compassion, very nurturing. You are the cosmic parent. Okay. Numbers 7. 7s are the psychic teacher. They seek deeper universal truths with detachment and wisdom. And then number 8s, these are our leaders. These are the ones that empower others. They are that actual leadership in action. 8 also being the infinity sign. And then there's the numbers 9. These are the inspired catalysts of love. They are the ones who give unconditional love and complete acceptance of all that is. And I also put number 10 here. I know we're going on the root number, but in case you have like a 10 in the middle, the reason I want to bring this out is because 10 is an instant manifestation of thoughts. So those that have a middle number of 10, or maybe you're born on the 10th day of the month, understanding that you can instantly manifest these things from your thoughts. So you want to make sure that you're focused on the things that you want and not the things that you don't want. Because if you're focused on things you don't want, that's exactly what you're going to manifest. And just being part of, like I said, what I do is help people to be consciously aware. So being consciously aware of your thoughts. If you're focused on something that you don't want to occur or happen, you need to acknowledge, okay, thank you for that, and push that aside and focus on what you do want, because that's what you want to manifest. If you've seen this transpired through your life, this could be an indication as to why you keep having things in your life that you don't want. Are your thoughts manifesting those for you? Now I want to take some time and I want to look at the shadow side of the numbers. And this is, like I said, the first time I've introduced this in any of my presentations. So number one, so they can express this. So when they're out of balance energetically, they will express self-centeredness. They will be aggressive, egotistical. They'll have a lack of initiative. They'll be very indecisive. They'll have repressed feelings and be self-conscious. So if you're a 1 and you haven't experienced any of that, that's what's happening. You're coming from the shadow side of that number. And then number 2s, they express their shadow side when they're feeling divided or incomplete. They can be very shy. They can actually express dishonest, and they can be dishonest. They can be insecure, depressed, dissatisfied, and easily offended. And number 3, numbers or people that are have a number 3, they express their shadow side when they're feeling scattered and doubtful. They can do things like they become a worrier. They're unforgiving, jealous, critical, and can be moody as well. And those who have a number 4, so they express when they are opinionated and overworked, they can become argumentative, lacking humor, resistant to anything new. They can be too serious, lacking in sensitivity, and they can be prejudiced. And it was really amazing when I started learning these numbers, learning the shadow side, and seeing how they really do. It just describes these people. It's amazing to me. Okay, so let's look at number 5. So number 5s, when they're feeling restless or when they're restless and being irresponsible, they also can be thoughtless. They can have a loss of faith even. Be impatient, fear change. Remember, they're the ones that like the change because it brings freedom, but they can fear that change coming from the shadow side, and they can be impulsive as well. And those who have a number 6, so they can become anxious and domineering. They can have a tendency to be codependent, emotionally controlling. They really need that appreciation, and they can expect too much of people and then are easily disappointed in them. And those who have a number 7, now they can become skeptical and isolated. When they do this, they have a tendency to live in the past. They are severely critical, fearful, suspicious, and can be very stubborn. And number 8, so their shadow side comes through when they're fearing failure or being dishonest. They can become materialistic, thoughtless. They can misuse that power. Remember, number 8 is the leadership that empowers. They can abuse that power. They can become careless about money because, again, 8 is the manifestation number of money. And they can demand recognition. And number 9s, so when they're not acting in their integrity and they're being egocentric, they can become over emotional, frustrated, they don't listen, they are extremely sensitive, nervous, and depressed and ignorant. So these are the shadow sides of numbers 1 through 9. So if you have, ever felt these things, you look at your number and you're like, oh my gosh, that really describes me, then you're coming from your shadow side. And then again, we went through what your natural state of being is when we went through the definitions and meanings of those numbers. So we can look and see what's going on and why we're coming from that direction. So being aware of the shadow side can help you to know when you are not in your natural state of being. So now I want to put all of these numbers together for you, and I'm just going to use my numbers because I'm actually going to show you how those double digits factor in there. Again, I just want you to focus on the root number for now, because getting into the meaning of the double digits and the mastery numbers is quite in depth. So the soul purpose number, which is the day of birth. So looking at your date of birth, this shows you who you are, right? So this is who I am. So the 9, being a 9, is the compassionate teacher of unconditional love. This was a lesson that I learned several years ago. This came to me that this was a lesson for me to learn because of the people that I kept encountering throughout my life. A lot of people who would withhold love in one way or another. It is the unlimited soul expression and holds the wisdom of the ages. And then 18 symbolizes unconditional love with a strong mind and an abundance of energy and charisma that makes for a powerful leader. Again, the 1 that has the strong mind and the 8 that comes together of the powerful leader and the abundance of energy and charisma. So you can see how that comes together. Now I can either lead with an inspiring example or I can mislead and get made an example of. So it's something I definitely want to be aware of. Again, when I'm coming from my natural state of being, I will be that inspired example. If I'm coming from my shadow side, I can be made into the example. Gives without expecting anything in return. Again, that's that unconditional love, both for the 18 and the 9. Very romantic and loves deeply and must meet deception or pain from others with love and forgiveness. Again, this is a pretty good snapshot of my life with people beginning with my parents that withheld love, people that have deceived me. Again, that unconditional love is all about that love and forgiveness. And I can enlighten and heal the hearts of others. I also have the gift to achieve immense success in both the spiritual and material world as the 18. Now looking at my life purpose, if you remember my numbers were 38, 11, and 2. This is going to tell me why I'm here. So the 38, and this was really intriguing to me because I was already on this path, but it really helped me dig in and embrace it and just fall in love with what I'm doing right now. So the 38s are here to remember, who I am and why I'm here and to help others do the same. And when I caught that statement, it was like, wow, that really is me. That is really my life purpose. Highly attuned, intuitive, having a bridge between the conscious and subconscious realms. Again, this is going to be the 11. You'll see that again in a minute. The creative 3, right? Creative fuels the leadership of the 8 for the psychic 11. 11 is actually the mastery psychic number, resulting in a number of spiritual leadership and entrepreneurship. And I was like, wow, I have had a spirit of entrepreneurship. I had wanted to be my, and I've done that throughout my life. And it's really, now I know why. And I have an energy field that's larger than usual, again, being that creative energy and that leadership, large amounts of energy. Having any physical, and then the double 1 too, because remember that was energy. Having any physical, emotional, or sexual blocks is a direct result of having blocked creative energy, and that's absolutely true. I had a lot of energy in my sacral chakra that was blocked and couldn't get to my power chakra, my solar plexus. The 38 and 11, so the 11 now walks through the gateway of truth. This is the psychic master with a higher consciousness as a gifted channel or clairvoyant, bringing compassion and peace. The double 1s have a double creative energy and drive, showing exceptional vitality and endurance. They are relaxed and open, receiving inspiration directly from super consciousness. So it's a great channel. Again, you have that double of connecting heaven and earth. And then 2, it symbolizes cooperation and peace. Remember we talked about that, partnerships, and loves to be of service. They have a gentleness of communication, compassion, enabling peace of mind, and is the diplomat. Okay, so now I want to look at the soul's purpose, or this should actually be destiny number. So I'm gonna have to fix that, but this should be the destiny number, which is for me was the 92-11-2. This is my purpose. This is how I live out my life's work. 92, this was phenomenal for me to understand this. So as a highly attuned, with an amazing opportunity to develop absolute faith in the power and goodness of my own higher self. And I'm going to show you some a little bit later, but one of my numbers where my sun is placed has to do with trust. So this is definitely one of my lessons as well, is trust, and that is trust in myself. I have a creating an energy of optimism after discovering the miraculous healing medicine for this powerful mastery number of relationships and compassion. Again, 9 being love and 2 being of relationships. I have a wonderful vitality and generous nature and a consistent demand for high standards. And if you've worked with me or know anything about me, I absolutely do only go for the best. So the 11 part of it, the 92 and 11 together. So 92 represents also tests for spiritual strength that are played out as trials. May have more than uncertainties than the norm. So as you saw in my story, I've had a lot of difficulties through my life. I can also have the ability to turn bad luck into good luck by taking full responsibility for my troubles and for pain. So taking my full responsibility allows me to turn any bad luck in my life instantly into good luck. And then also abundance flows as my energy flows. So I have to make sure that that my energy is able to flow freely, that there are no blocks. And again, 2 symbolizing cooperation and peace, partnership, and loves to be of service, gentleness of communication, compassion, enabling peace of mind, and is the diplomat. So if you noticed my numbers, I have the 11 and the 2 twice in both my life purpose and my destiny number of how this plays out for me. All right, now I want to show you a little bit of how the astrology fits in with the numerology. So on the left is my natal chart. And then in the middle, you'll see the natal chart actually written out rather than a diagram like that. And again, if you look at my sun down there, the zodiac sign is Aries. I am an Aries. And the 28th. So we'll get into the definitions of the planets here and the houses as well, moving on. But that 28 reduces to a 10 to a 1. And again, the 28 has to do with relationships and infinity. So togetherness and infinity, which is why when those numbers come together, the shadow side of that can be trust, mistrust, and sun represents the father. So it could be, or men in your life, or my life, I'm gonna speak for me. So I'll show you that a little bit more. And then on the right are the houses, and the ascending house, which is house 1. Mine is also in an Aries, again with a 1. So these are very prominent ones in both my sun and my ascending house. And we'll go through that. What I want you to take note of though, in the houses, if you look down, there's the 4th house, which is represented with an IC, is at a 0. So if you go across a little over more to the right, you'll see the 0. That first number is the one that we're concerned about, the degree. And then if you go down to the 10th house, which is represented by the MC, you'll also see that there's a 0. This really changed my life when I saw this and I graphed that, and I'll talk a little bit more about what a 0 means. And then one of my planets, Uranus, is also at a 0. So looking at the degrees of the planets and the 12 houses, as well as zodiac signs at the time and place of birth. Okay, this is what creates your natal chart and the data sheets. All right, I want to take now some time and look at the meaning of the planets. So your sun, the placement is very significant of your sun. This represents your conscious mind. This is your will to live and your creative life force. It's basically your identity. It is associated with your father and your relationship with your father and masculine energy. And then the placement of the moon is very important as well, because this reflects feelings, moods, emotions, and instinct. This is your deepest personal needs, and this is associated with your mother and feminine energy. We're just going to run through the planets here. Mercury, which governs communication and symbolizes focus, awareness, reason, analysis, spoken and written expression. Venus is our planet that represents love, beauty, creativity, and money. It inspires art, romance, and fortune as well. And then Mars. Mars is our drive, right? It represents our raw energy, our self-assertive power. It symbolizes survival, sexual drive, and our romantic attraction. Jupiter represents luck. This is opportunity and optimism. It's also how you express your generosity and your tolerance for things. It symbolizes growth and expansion as well. And Saturn represents our learning, our restrictions, and our discipline, making sure that you learn your lessons. So what number is at Saturn can indicate how you learn those lessons. Uranus is all about, it rules electricity and change, especially those sudden changes, ensuring progress, that, you know, it's inevitable, it just continues. We continue to progress. And Neptune, the planet of dreams, it's the imagination and illusion. It symbolizes our fantasies, our inspiration, our psychic gifts, our intuitive receptivity, and also our sensitivity. And Pluto, the planet of power, reveals what is hidden beneath the surface. These are things like your deepest fears, hopes, and desires. Now for the houses, so the meaning of our 12 houses. House 1, which is considered the ascending house, is your personality and your self-image. House 2 is all about self-worth, values, and money. 3 is going to represent our communication and our language, how we express. 4 is about home, family, and roots. House 5 is about children, creativity, and play. 6 represents our work, our responsibilities, and our service to others. House 7, which is also known as the descending house, is all about our partnerships, relationships, marriage. House is about our transformation and sexuality. Our house 9 is all about our education, our journeys that we go through, and our beliefs. And then our house, the 10th house, which is also our midheaven, governs our career, our reputation, and our destiny. House 11 is all about friends, future, and groups. And the 12th house is about our soul growth, death, and the ego. Now again, here's the chart of my houses. So the areas that I struggled in were home and career, which is the house 4, and house 10, which again is at 0 degrees. So I was unable, I was having trouble establishing roots again. I had moved 9 times in 9 years after my husband passed away. So I also moved, I went to 8 different elementary schools. I was able to go to the same middle school and high school, even though we moved a couple times. And then after high school, moved around a lot again until I married my second husband. We managed to establish a house for a good 12 years and of our marriage. So you can see I moved around a lot, roots, and so stability has been an issue that I have really longed for. And I would struggle in finding my place in the world as far as my career. I went through several different jobs, works. I've done a multitude of things in my life. But after my husband passed away, I went back to school. Remember, at 40, I started my life over. So I went back to school, achieved my nutritional health coaching certification, got a bachelor's degree to work with doctors. My goal at that time was to actually work directly with doctors. That hasn't transpired. That isn't my path. I know that now. I do correlate with them, with clients and things. I will work with them, but not directly under them. I was good in growing my own spirituality and would often speak with my clients about their beliefs in spirituality. But there always seemed to be limits on me where I was, how I was able to express that when I worked for other people. I was afraid to grasp the whole spiritual direction, especially when it came to my career, until I saw my numbers. And then I would take everyone else's advice. So I was trying to find my path, and it seemed like, everybody else was being successful in what they were doing. And I got a lot of, great advice, and I would try those things that just did not work for me. None of it would work for me until I discovered my numbers, and I suddenly had the answers in the direction that I needed, putting me on my personal path of happiness, purpose, and peace. And that's what I want, and I help others do the same. Now, being at a 0 point, I want to take a moment to explain that. 0 is actually what they call a reset. So it comes from everything and nothing. So when I grasped this, it really helped me understand why I had such a difficult time with these two areas, because I really had not determined how these things were going to play out in my life. Therefore, I turned that around, and at first I was fearful about that, and then I turned it around into understanding that I can create it to be whatever I want it to be. So looking at all my other numbers is where I grasp how I want to play that out in my life. And this was the first time I now am in a home I bought in August. And if you looked at how that all happened and the numbers and everything, it really was a miracle. It should never have happened. But I also knew that it was time for me to put down those roots again. So I just trusted in the universe that was going to happen, because I put that out there. Now it's time. I'm ready to put those roots down. And when I was online and I was looking at houses and I saw this house online, I knew instantly that this was the house I was going to live in, because I had already put together a vision board and I had already been envisioning the house I wanted, the layout of it. And this house has that layout. It has that open kitchen, dining area, living area. The master bedroom wall is connected to where the television sits on the living room wall. I mean, it was unbelievable how this home fit all of that for me, and a lot of other details as well. So I knew I needed to come see the house. So I came in and I knew instantly the feeling that I got in the house that this was my home. As soon as I walked in, it was like I was home. And so sure enough, I'm in the home now. And now that I've shifted my career and understanding that I'm going to make it what I want it to be, and knowing that my numbers are 11-2, which is a very spiritual number, working out peace, helping others, all of the others, discovering why I'm here and my purpose, and helping others do the same. And then being given the tool of the astronumerology has truly changed my life, and is helping me change the lives of others in a more dramatic spiritual awareness level that I really wanted to do and was afraid to grasp. Right. So the other ways that it's changed my life is it's expanded my conscious awareness and spiritual awakening. I choose to be here. When I grasp that I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, I know that I choose to be here. I choose the people and events that would bring me to my spiritual awakening. So the people that I've had in my life, I knew they were going to be in my life. I choose the lessons that I would need to learn for me to remember who I am and why I'm here. So these were all chosen things before I came in. And then how I continue to expand my conscious awareness and fulfill my purpose of helping others on their spiritual journey is I eat high vibrational foods to keep, because when my vibration gets low, my spiritual awareness, my conscious awareness is not prevalent. I can come from my shadow side. So making sure that I'm eating high vibrational foods, which is one of the ways that I helped my spiritual awakening when I started with nutrition. I use essential oils daily because those also raise vibration. They have high vibrations. Frankincense, I've got diffusing behind me right now in my office. And I remove toxins from my home and life because those can also lower vibration, keeping us in a stuck state and not fulfilling our purpose. I meditate and I pray. I use crystals because of their vibration and energy. I also use other vibrational tools that are infused with the human blueprint frequencies. I wear what's called a balancing pendant, and I wear that pretty regularly. I have it on right now, and whenever I go out of the house, I always have it to keep my nervous system calm. And I also check my numbers daily and when events occur. And then I'm actually in a current 6 year that will be changing in April to a 7. So right now, 2019, we are in March 2019 as this recording is taking place. And 2019 is a 3-year, so it's all about creativity and expression of joy. And for me, being in a 6-year, this year was all about family, which is why I was able to say this is time for me to put down those roots. This is the year for that. And nurturing, I wanted a place to be able to nurture the rest of my life. And I have a granddaughter and my kids, and be of service to others. So I needed a home that I would be able to work out of to be of service to others. So those all came in the year 6. Now I will change in the year 7 because my birthday is in April, which is all about the psychic leader. So I'm really excited to see what my 7th year is going to bring. I also share and teach and coach others through their spiritual awakening to know who they are, why they are here, and how to fulfill their purpose. This is why I'm here. So I want to go through I'm having some current promotions right now while this video, they're in the link below, or in the down below this video, you'll be able to get those promo links. I will make sure that those are there. But right now I have a soul blueprint reading that normally is priced at $189, and that goes through, I'll go through all the things that it includes. But right now, until March 30th, I'm offering this service for only $97. So that's almost a 50% discount with the promo code of 1633. So when you go onto the website, which I will give that to you in just a few minutes, you'll go and you'll put the promo code in, and in the notes, there's a little notes area. You're going to want to give me your birth date, your full birth date, your full birth name, the time of your birth, and the location of where you were born. You'll also want to give me any of the current names that you're using, and I'll explain that in a minute why. And then it'll take me about 2 weeks to complete the reading. You'll receive an email from me with your soul profile reading, along with the link to schedule a 50-minute session, and we will go thoroughly over your soul profile. So that'll give you a chance, give yourself a chance to look it over really well, jot down some questions for me before we have that meeting, that call. And that call can either be over the phone or it can be on a Zoom call, a video call as well, whatever you prefer. All right, now coming to the end. So my website is the www.spiritual-vitality.com. My email is Shannon at spiritual, having a hard time with that, -vitality.com. So if you want to email me, you have some questions, or you can go onto the website, you can get signed up. Again, I'll have those links below for you. You can go to the website, you can sign up for my monthly newsletter. I'm going to be doing more things on the numerology, but I'll still continue with the nutrition and the other tools and things that I use. So if you go to the website and you want to sign up for the services that I'm offering, the promos, so the services, which are the ones that I showed you today, there's a tab at the top called services/course. You would just click that and then click on the one that you want. You want to make sure you enter that promo service. And then again, you want to enter all that information in the notes that I gave you. And then I also do personal coaching sessions that are also available under the coaching session tab on the website. I want to look, and again, I'm going to have the links in there for you for the recorded version that's on YouTube. They'll be below. So if you want to just click on the links, they'll be there for you. Also, I will include the link for my book if that's something that you would like to read. Just to get a little more information about me and my trials and how my life has transpired on each one of these levels, because that's what I'm here to do. Is I'm here to help you do the same and fulfill your life purpose and understand who you truly are. So I thank you for joining me today, and this has been so exciting. I hope that you have gotten a lot of value out of it. You understand a little bit more of who you are and why you're here and how you're to live that out. And if you'd like to know more, please go to my website, email me, sign up for a reading. I love doing these readings. It's just amazing to me to put these together for people. So, and then I love being able to teach others how to do the same. So wishing you well, much love and light. Thank you.